How's it going, everybody? You know I like to start these voicemail shows with a joke, but this morning I'm racking my brain and I just can't think of one. I'm out of jokes 25 games into the season. I can't believe it. So, I asked ChatGPT to come up with a joke. What do you get when you cross a tree with a baseball player? Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth.
Buongiorno.
Hey, this is Rick from Connecticut. I've been a fan for the past couple of years. You do a great job with your channel. Just wanted to comment. The new core four, power four, Rizzo, Soto, Judge, and Stanton. Man, when they're on, this team is unbeatable. I believe all year long, if you have at least two of the four consistently going, it's pretty unbeatable, but three of the four is nuts. But also I wanted to get your opinion on the outfield. Verdugo being there has been great for the team chemistry. Do you see long-term him staying with the team, or do you see with the Marshall coming back that he kind of gets phased out? What's your opinion on that?
Hey, I appreciate the call. So I think, honestly, that Verdugo's probably just 1 year and done. The issues are that not only the Martian is coming back, but Spencer Jones is a legitimate prospect. Now, we had a call in about making him possibly a first baseman, but here's the issue. Despite him being extremely tall and a nice big target for a first baseman, he is extremely fast. He's got Corbin Carroll level speed because he's got such a long stride. He's extremely athletic. If you put him in the major leagues right now, he would be in the top 10% of the league in terms of speed. And you don't want to waste that speed at first base. You would want to put him in the outfield. I think he's going to end up, honestly, being the Yankees center fielder next year. And I think Jason Dominguez, who's a little bit shorter, a little bit stockier, probably won't maintain his speed as long. I think he's going to shift over to left field and be kind of that Melky Cabrera type of player, but with maybe a little bit more power. And then, of course, you got to figure out the Judge, Soto, Stanton trifecta, because that leaves right field, DH, and maybe even first base, because we don't know if Rizzo's going to come back, and the Yankees don't really have a first baseman lined up. We've had some talk about Ben Rice, possibly Austin Wells moving over to first base. I think ultimately Aaron Judge, who has taken some ground balls at first base in the past, is moving to first base. I think that's why they're not that concerned about wearing him out in center field this year. He's a good center fielder. He runs well, but let's face it, the guy is going to be 32 pretty soon, and he's not going to gain speed. He's not going to gain flexibility. I think Judge over at first base eventually makes a lot of sense. That allows you to play Soto in right field, where he's shown a lot of promise, and that allows you to keep Stanton until he runs out of effectiveness. And then when Stanton is finally off the team, you move Judge into the DH spot, and then you backfill first base with an actual first baseman. You got time to draft somebody and develop somebody right now. Would not shock me if they did draft a first baseman in the upcoming MLB draft. Thanks for the call.
Hey, Derek. Tony from Connecticut. The Yankees need more multiple inning relief pitchers like Weaver. They had one in the late 90s, I believe, in the early 2000s. I think his name was Mario Mendoza. He was real good. He used to come in sixth inning and the 7-8, give you 2 or 3 innings to save this bullpen. This one inning crap I never liked, but you got to get another one or maybe a couple more like him. And because I'm worried about this bullpen.
Thanks for the call. So the guy you're talking about is Ramiro Mendoza. He was a sinker ball specialist. I loved him because he was efficient. He would come in and throw a few innings. He got a lot of vulture wins. They've also had some other guys like Alfredo Aceves, Brian Bowringer, Scott Proctor to a degree, although he was a lot of times a one-inning power pitcher. But Joe Torre wasn't afraid to run him out there for multiple innings until his arm fell off. There's been a lot of guys. I think that Clark Schmidt could actually fill that role. I mean, we've seen that he doesn't go deep into the games, but he's very effective the first couple of times through the order. His stuff is very, very sharp those first couple of innings. I would have no issue throwing him in the 6th or 7th or even 6th, 7th, and 8th a couple of times a week, and that could really save the bullpen going down the stretch. Now, you look at Luis Gil's power stuff and the way he avoids hard contact, and that just screams late inning reliever, right? And the fact that he's a starter and he's stretched out means he could probably go a couple innings. The Yankees might be tempted to go in that direction because they want to save innings for him this year because he's coming back from Tommy John, really hasn't pitched much in the last couple of years. So that could happen, but I worry about his command because, you want a relief pitcher to come in and throw strikes, and he is prone to walks. He walks a lot of guys. So got to kind of figure this one out, but I agree with you in terms of needing a multi-inning reliever in addition to Luke Weaver. I think Weaver's done a nice job. He was a nice pickup. Also, wouldn't shock me to see Cody Poteet fill that role at some point. Also, you never know if these starting pitchers in the minor leagues are going to work out. Will Warren, good starting pitching prospect, but if he doesn't crack the rotation, he might be a reliever. There's Clayton Beater, who throws absolute gas. He might be a guy who ends up being a reliever, and he's stretched out as a starter. So Yankees do have some options. Appreciate the call.
Hey, Derek, what's going on, my man? This is Javier again from Las Vegas. I did subscribe finally, man. I do love your content. It's I don't miss any of the recaps, and you do some great work. My comment is regarding another comment of one of your subscribers that he made a couple of days ago, I believe, regarding Clay Holmes. And he was saying that he doesn't understand why some of us are getting pretty hard with Clay Holmes. I get it. His numbers show that he's been okay, actually very good based on his numbers. But this is a case where what you see is what's exactly going on. And what I see, at least, and I'm sure most of us see that, is that he's not a closer. When you see Mason Miller from the A's dominating our best three hitters with strikeouts, with 103, 102 miles per hour, that's a closer.
Thanks for the call. I mean, we've got the classic clash between the eye test and the analytics. Now, what we know to be true is that Clay Holmes gets a lot of ground balls, okay? And that has some benefits. He's going to keep the ball in the ballpark. But we've talked about this before. When you go into extra innings and you've got the Manfred runner on, all it takes is a little ground ball with eyes, something to sneak through the infield, and that's a run. And it also means if you're pitching to contact, you're not getting as many strikeouts. Now, Clay Holmes has at times in his career completely lost the strike zone too. And I think that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. But his command has actually been pretty good this year. He's given up some hard-hit ground balls that have snuck through. He's had some, I guess, high-wire act innings. But so far, 0 ERA. And he's pitching pretty well in terms of the numbers, the statistics. So despite our cardiac arrest collectively, about 3 out of every 5 times that he comes in to pitch, the numbers say he's good. So that's what the Yankees are going with. He's a free agent after the season. So if he has a monster year in terms of saves, he might be pitching himself out in New York anyway, because the Yankees aren't going to pay big for a closer. We've seen that they like to pick up their relief pitchers off the scrap heap, and they're not going to be spending big money on a closer while Juan Soto's out there as a free agent. I don't even think they're going to spend big on Gleyber Torres, who's their starting second baseman right now, because they're going to be all invested in Juan Soto. I think they're going to bring Soto back and then figure out the roster construction around that. So appreciate the call. Thanks everybody for calling in. I will talk to you after the game tonight. Yankees trying to make it 3 in a row.